Three, two, one, go!
One, two, coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP the Ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on. Hey.
Ugh. Ugh. What's happening? What's happening? Ugh. Ugh. Oh, yeah. That's better. All right. That was a visual gag for y'all, you audio listeners. I apologize. You're not going to get that. Okay. I have feedback coming to my headphones. Not sure where it's coming from. Going to try to push through it right now. You're listening to episode 363 of the PHP Ugly podcast, Daylight Edition. It is still sunny here in Southern California, and there's actually time of day for most of the country. If this is your first time watching us, because we are on at this time, welcome. Happy to see you. If not, welcome back. Glad you guys were able to join us. You can be part of the show by popping into our Discord channel at discord.phpugly.com. And you participate in the show. If you're watching the live stream, you'll see the chat happening on the side of the screen here. and you can suggest title suggestions by putting an exclamation point title, and then whatever you think the title of this episode should be called. And we, after the show, go through them all and figure out who did the best. The podcast is made better thanks to some sponsors. PHPUgly. No, that's PHPUgly. That's us. PHP Storm and honeybadger.io, as well as PHP Architect, which is the business that John and I run, as well as some of our great sponsors on Patreon. And we're going to talk about all of them a little later. But for now, the aforementioned John.
Hello, hello. You were going to get us canceled, by the way. I'm just saying that.
What'd I do? What'd I say?
You put out there a little tease trying to get people to watch today or be here live. And
I just don't. This is not usual.
It is not usual. But you were teasing that there might be a guest.
Man,
And
I have got.
There's not.
I'm hearing everything twice. I don't know where it's coming from.
You have to have YouTube open in another tab or something. No? Nothing like that?
Yep.
Oh, so we're recording a little early today. Today is my wife's birthday. Happy birthday, Jackie, even though you'll never see this. Decided to record early so that in case we go and do something later as a family, I'm not rushed back and, spend some time with her on her birthday. So I thank you for accommodating me and making it.
And I don't know if we get enough good feedback. If people like this, maybe this will be the new thing. This can be the new normal.
It could be. It is not Thursday night, but
It is not Thursday night. We would have to commission a new song, wouldn't we?
I think we need to anyway. There is that.
Is that?
Alrighty. How's your week so far?
Well, it was going great up until today, and then today got a little stressful.
Why is that? What happened today?
One of our clients, the client I do a lot of work on, we decided to upgrade to PHP 8. We've done this. Well, we've had this on the books for a very long time. We tried doing it a while back, but we have very few windows where we can do this sort of upgrade. So we're coming from 7 to 8, and because of everything that can go wrong, because of how important the site is, it's very important that we don't break things too bad. So we have certain times of the year where we're allowed to do this sort of migration, and we are in that time of year again. And we tried it today, and for the most part, it worked. But there was one little piece that broke, and obviously it's got to be related to the upgrade because it literally was working this morning before the upgrade and then broke. Not a huge piece, just nobody could log in. I saw that as a positive. Less load on the servers. Client had an issue with it. We need to obviously figure out what's going on there and get it all fixed. Hopefully we can get it fixed before we lose our window of upgrade. But I'm really excited about getting this client onto PHP 8.
Don't we have PHP 8 like staging servers? I'm shocked that not being able to log in wasn't caught there.
Oh, John, I'm shocked about a lot of things. Yes. Yes, it's been on non-production environments for probably 6 months now. So yes, it's very, very shocking that something went wrong. And obviously we will do a post-mortem after the fact once we get it deployed. I don't like to point fingers while you're in the midst of trying to fix things. I would like to kind of get it fixed. Then we do our little post-mortem, figure out where the ball was dropped, and go from there.
Right. Makes sense.
But yeah, besides that, got some great traction on a new client. Really, really excited about this engagement. I'm going to spend some time with them. First thing, hats off to the new client. Obviously, we can't share names or anything, but if you're a contractor or even if you're a development studio like we are here at PHP Architect, you become very numb to or accustomed. I guess numb isn't the word. Accustomed to either being brought in when everything has gone sideways and the business is like in panic mode trying to fix stuff, or you get brought in when somebody has a great idea. They don't know how they're going to implement it, but I have this great idea. I want to, build and then trying to build stuff. This client is neither. They are an established shop. They've had applications running for decades now that they've slowly built on, and they just have identified like they're meeting this threshold of, okay, we're past our capacity, we're past where we can continue to grow with what we have. So let's start to plan for the future. Let's see what we have. Let's see where we can improve, and let's see if we need to bring on resources. And so they had reached out to us. I'm like, I don't know what to do in this situation. This is too good.
Exactly.
So I'm so excited about this client. I can't wait to start meetings on scoping with them next week. But
Yeah, it's nice we're, like you said, not on fire, so it's not, you've got to get up to speed ASAP. It's,
right.
We can help architect things and get things to a good spot.
Right.
It is
Exactly.
exciting. I like it.
So yeah, besides that, I think I mentioned I got my code deployed. Was it this week or last week? The code I'd worked on finally got pushed to production. I don't know if it had happened last week for the show or early this week, but no warnings or issues with that. It was a pretty smooth deployment. So yeah. Greetings from
Nice.
Oh.
Grumpy's watching.
We've got to step our game up. We've got to step our game up. Very nervous now. Grumpy's watching.
Good luck with that. Should be easy though. We can only go up from where we're at.
Yeah, it's really not hard to do worse.
Yeah. Any more about your week before I?
No, you
keep
can have
going?
it. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I put out on Twitter. Just I don't know why I went there, because I don't do Twitter very often. I think I was there for something else. I'm like, oh, let me just post this out there. My database triggers, MySQL triggers or not, and why. And there's always a strong feedback on that, and people don't like triggers. It's magic in the database, and I get that. I get it a lot. So while I understand, I'm still trying to tackle a problem, right? And I think I told you last week we were adding some fields to a table, actually to two tables, and those alter statements took 4 to 6 hours each to run. So the tables are huge. We don't do this very often. I'm excited to get that on there. But these 4 5 fields are really only replicating data somewhere else in the database so that I can improve query performance on our worst performing queries. So I took the opportunity, instead of trying to find, hundreds or thousands of places throughout the code base that might be updating this data, I wanted to say, hey, MySQL, if this table changes, update these fields over in these other 2 tables. I thought I had a good way because it's also how we do auditing. So there's a store procedure that says, if this data changes, store this in the audit log. And it's not a great system, but it's better than nothing. And we did that probably 10 years ago at this point. So I tried to hook right into that and say, at that same point, inside that stored procedure, hey, update the audit log or insert in the audit log, update the tables. Yeah, that failed. That didn't work because I was trying to update the table that a trigger was on. Makes sense. Okay, so I scrapped that idea, which meant I had to go and add triggers to 5 or 6 different tables, and it worked great. It got released.
You had to cascade your triggers.
Not necessarily cascade. It was just all of these tables already have triggers on them that say, "Hey, when you insert, update, or delete, call the audit log." Call that stored procedure. And MySQL 5.7.2 and higher allow multiple triggers on a table. So I just added another trigger saying on insert, update, or delete, go update these fields in 1 or 2 of these tables. Again, not a big deal. Got released last night. After the release, I made sure to, check the database. I'm like, it's all working. I'm getting updated information. I'm happy. Until you try to do an insert or an update with a join. So, learn lessons the hard way. You're like, oh, this is great. It works. I know it's not a great way to do it, but it accomplished my task. And then somebody tried running a query today, and they are doing an insert, but joining on a table that has a trigger, and that's a no-go. So back to the drawing board. Got to figure that out. We got to
Jesus, you don't have a solution for this? You're supposed to come to us with solutions, John.
The solution is don't use triggers because it's a bad idea, which everyone told me was a bad idea. No, I came up with plans within our ORM to do the same thing without the triggers, but I need product buy off to say that's a good idea. And basically, it's a give and take here, where we have 2 different ORMs because we're trying to. I think I've told you before. We still use a library that was written for PHP 4 that we've hobbled along, and Doctrine. So I basically went to them and said, here is a better option than the triggers. If the insert, update, or delete happen via data objects or via Doctrine, we can do the update we need. Right? It's just that easy. It's active record. If this record is saved, update these fields. What I can't do is if there is raw SQL somewhere that does one of those operations, that would just take longer to find, right? So I was like, maybe we don't care that much. Most of our CRUD operations are happening via these 2 ORMs. Oh, I wish I could event source all the things. I do. So long story short, we triggers, while it's a good shortcut and it got me where I need to be for now, definitely not the right solution.
Yeah, I used a pattern that I haven't used before. Actually, I think I might have actually used it on my event sourcing pattern, my event sourcing project. But I don't know if it's observability or observation. I always mix it up. Since I'm using Active Record, I'm using Laravel Active Record. You can create this observer where if certain actions happen within a model, create, update, delete, it will. You can have it do other things, kind of like a trigger in a database. Hey, if there's an insert, do this. So it's kind of like that. And I did see somebody reply to your Twitter post about pushing too much quote unquote magic into the database. And it's valid. We had this conversation a little bit a couple of shows ago. I think a lot of it comes down to who's managing the database. Like if you have DBAs managing the database, maybe that's where they want that to happen. Like they don't want that burden to be on the developer to remember to do stuff, or that's why they do it. And like I said, with the work I've been doing with document stores and CouchDB, I have really started to embrace the idea of the developer kind of being on the hook for data integrity and making sure data is captured the way it should be captured. But easy for me to say, we're not a big enterprise. We don't have DBAs. If you do, it's a different story, right? Because they want to be the last line of defense for data integrity and want to be able to implement their rules to make sure their environment stays current. So yeah, a lot of it kind of comes down to the size of the application and the structure of your organization. And I don't really see triggers or any of that as even when we talk about foreign key restraints, which I think we talked about last week. That's not magic. It's just a function of that environment.
So foreign keys aren't magic. Triggers are, in the sense that because things happen within your database that you may not know about. I am updating.
You as the developer don't know about.
Right.
Right.
But things are happening without knowledge per se, unless, I mean, it could be well shared. It could be well documented.
Right. It's a functionality of the system. I mean, in that, I feel like where you're going with that statement is everything we do. We're magicians, right? Because all the code we do does things like, who knows how that's happening. That's all it is to the DBA. They're just writing code in their environment to perform tasks.
And so I tend to agree with you a lot there, because I look at it as I could put a listener on a Doctrine entity that does the same thing, right? But if you don't know about it, all of a sudden there's things being updated. I think the difference is you could find it a little easier going through your code. Like you could look for, like, why did this field update, and look through your code pretty easy and find it. It may not always be.
I see your point.
Trying to figure out what triggers are on the table might be a little trickier. You may not have access to that, so it might be it could be hidden a little bit more from you in that regard.
And back to the event sourcing statement, right? In that environment, in that architecture, anything that's done, like the whole point of event sourcing is to understand how data got to a state. So if you have an environment where things are happening outside of that event sourcing, that's an issue, right?
Right, exactly. So it just, I think it was that I affected other people's code without realizing it by adding the triggers, which made it even more of an issue. Outside of that, I use triggers all the time. I got lots of triggers and stored procedures in the database. So in my mind, adding a handful more wouldn't affect anything, but it did. So just trying to find other ways around that.
Well, if we have a listener that has some ideas, give John a holler on Twitter at John Congdon and let him know why he's not as smart as he thinks. And if John figures something out, I'm sure he'll bring it up on the show at a later date. For now, speaking of code and making things easier and all the magic that happens, let's get a word from our sponsor, PHP Storm.
Thanks to JetBrains and PHP Storm for partnering with us. PHP Storm is a cutting-edge IDE tailored for PHP and web developers. Whether you're a newcomer or it's just been a hot minute since your last dive-in, there's never been a better time to revisit. With a slick, clean new UI, blazing speed enhancements, and a richer toolkit, it's transforming the way we code. It's time to start coding like a professional. Visit jetbrains.com/PHP Storm and kick off your 30-day free trial. Code smarter, not harder.
Thanks,
Thank you,
PHP Storm.
Storm. Chris says he has no idea how to test triggers. Actually, shouldn't it be that hard if you actually use your database to run queries and you want to show that the triggers are working? So, good point.
It's
It's
funny
possible.
if you don't understand. Chris Hartish,
Purchase.
grumpy programmer is the man who really got testing to become like a big thing in the PHP community. So it's funny that he said that. One thing
Exactly.
he doesn't know. You and I ended up putting a couple things on our Trello board that kind of overlapped a little bit. And
Yeah, we did.
I'll move it over to our show. A blog post came out. We just ran the PHP Storm. PHP Storm ad.
Yeah.
And Brett, that's his name, right?
Brent.
We're big fans of Brent and a lot of the work he does, and he still does his blog on Stitcher.
Stitcher.io.
Yeah, Stitcher.io. Are you going to correct me on the show, or are you just going to let me
I'm going to try.
sometime?
Would that
be okay with you?
You obviously don't know me very well.
And I read it. I'm like, wow, I don't know if that's necessarily right. So he made a blog post that some of it says that he thinks there's this animosity between the Symfony community and the Laravel community. Maybe he's right. I mean, obviously he has a lot more insight on the greater PHP communities than I do. I'm more embedded in the Laravel community, been trying to get more familiar with Symfony and the Symfony community. Only speaking from what I've observed and what I've been a part of in the Laravel community, I've never, ever heard anybody badmouth Symfony or anything about Symfony. I'd be curious why he felt like that was the case. And from what I've seen in the Symfony community, I don't even think they know about the Laravel community. I've never seen Symfony developers say anything bad about Laravel developers, but most definitely have never seen anybody in the Laravel community say anything bad about Symfony and the Symfony framework, especially seeing how 90% of Laravel is built off of Symfony components. That's a made-up number. John wouldn't correct me, but I'll let you know. But a lot of Laravel is made up of Symfony components. I'm just curious. I mean, do you have any insight on this, John, that I'm missing? Like maybe something happened that I wasn't aware of?
I don't know if anything specific happened. I think it's just that there is a mentality. There is a fanboyism, and I think I replied to the thread on that one, where I think it's not coming from. I don't know for sure, but I don't think it's coming from the top. I don't think it was the organizers of either event bashing the other. I think it's just talking to developers in general, and they are very passionate about the framework that they use. And some people feel like I am a Laravel developer, not I'm a PHP developer that uses Laravel. I am a Symfony developer, not a PHP developer that uses Symfony. So instead of it being a tool in their toolkit, it's their identity. And when you challenge somebody's identity, they get a little defensive, and they're like, no, Laravel is way better than Symfony, or Symfony is way better. So I think that's what it was. Maybe he had conversations with some developers that really felt like their framework of choice was the only option. So much so that they bashed the other one.
Gotcha. And I'm being a little judgmental now. And again, a lot of this is because I'm in the Laravel community, and I have said it time and time again. You definitely have fanboys in the Laravel community. And I think one of the things that might be working against Laravel in that situation is that you have very immature developers who are passionate about this new framework that they learned called Laravel, and just like anything else that you're immature about, you just want to tell everybody how it's so much better than any other decision anybody, and you just don't have the skill set or the depth of knowledge to understand what you're talking about. And I'm concerned when I saw that blog post, I'm like, I wonder if that's what happened. If you talk to a bunch of new Laravel developers who are, like you said, don't even consider themselves PHP developers because they just don't know enough about PHP to call them PHP developers.
Right.
So I think just in general, again, the exposure I've gotten on the Symfony side, you don't see that as much, right? Symfony developers do seem to be a little bit more rounded, a little bit more mature about their understanding of the greater PHP community.
But I don't know. I don't talk to enough people.
I'm going to stir shit up with the Laravel people. You mind?
You're doing
Can
good.
you give me this?
I did share Michael Dorinda's tweet. That's the one I responded to about it not coming from the organizers, because he tweeted out, "There's no beef," and showed a panel of Laravel and Symfony people, getting along. And I don't think this big battle where I think Brent, I don't want to say screwed up, but what he did was he put out there, like, I have this post that I'm not sure I want to put out there. And a lot of people saying, I have hundreds or thousands of draft posts that will never see the light of day, but other people saying, yeah, share it. And that's what it was the Laravel Symfony thing. So I think starting the thread that way made it seem like it was a much bigger deal versus what it ended up being.
Yeah.
And to his point, the blog post, the main point of it outside of the Laravel Symfony thing was being able to say, I don't know. And a lot of people don't say that enough. It's, I know what I'm talking about, and I need to show that I know what I'm talking about by having a stance one way or another, instead of, I don't know, let me look at that and make a more informed decision later.
All right. What else you got to talk? You got anything good?
Nothing good. Yeah. Oh, yes, I do. I want to go back to issues I had this week. And I know PHP Storm, you are a sponsor, so I'm not trying to bash on you, but I had a hell of a time with PHP Storm on Monday.
Oh, you mentioned this. I didn't follow up with you on that because I really didn't care, but go ahead.
It was just, nothing was working. It got to a point where I would go to open a file, and I always do the same key combination, whatever it is, something Shift-O, type in a file name, and it wasn't opening in the editor, it was opening in the project view. I would double click on the file there. It would not open. I could not get it to work. I invalidated the caches over and over again. I uninstalled PHP Storm and reinstalled it. Still couldn't get it to open a freaking file. And I'm trying all the debugging things I know of. And finally somebody said, did you look at the logs? I'm like, crap. How did I not think of that? So I start tailing the PHP Storm logs, relaunch it.
Wait a minute, PHP Storm has logs? Yeah, I didn't even know this.
Yeah. If you go under window or one of the menu options, you can go to figure out where the logs are stored. Mm-hmm. But it's all Java error stuff. But through just reading through it or scanning through it quickly, it was the Idea Vim plugin. Uninstalled the Idea Vim plugin, it started working. Reinstalled it, it still worked. So something happened with the plugin.
What?
Yeah,
that's crazy. I don't even know what about you going to the project and double clicking on something would even trigger anything in the Idea Vim plugin.
It was causing Java errors. So something with the plugin was holding something open. I can't remember what the actual error was, but it was at the Java level, not not the plugin itself per se.
Fucking Steve. Oh, I can't say fucking anymore. We're in the middle of the day. Like kids are listening, I'm sure. Yeah, just Steve King in our Discord said JetBrains couldn't figure out how to quit Vim.
Yeah,
it's hysterical.
Yeah. So reinstalled the Vim plugin, works fine. No worries there.
I owe another debt of gratitude to our Discord, discord.phpugly.com. I think Awas might have been one, but a couple of people in our Discord kept telling me to try Obsidian, and I had already kind of gone down the Notion path, and I was actually was in the process of giving up on Notion before John and I decided to start using it for the magazine. But I was like, I really wanted a editor to do Markdown for me, but I wasn't in the mood for another tool. I didn't really want another tool in my tool chain. So I pushed back on the idea of using Obsidian for so long, and man, do I regret it. Obsidian's been such a great addition to my tool chain. I don't know if Obsidian's an open source project, and they're definitely not a sponsor of the show. They do have a paid service, but if you're looking for something to help you with Markdown and help you take notes, give Obsidian a look. My biggest thing, much like JetBrains, this is what got me thinking about it, is when you talked about the Idea Vim plugin, which, if you're not aware, Idea Vim is what lets you use Vim in PHP Storm, but there is a Idea Vim RC file that allows you to customize that experience, which is something I love. Obsidian has the same thing. It has a Vim plugin, and then it has a Obsidian RC file that allows you to customize that plugin. So for me, the biggest thing is JK to escape. If I don't have JK to escape, it drives me nuts. I don't know what to do with myself. It's like, all right, I can't use Vim anymore. I can't JK to escape. Vim is over. So anyway,
how do you type just kidding?
Well, that's J/K, right? I mean, that's not just JK. That would just be weird. But whoever it was, there's so many great people in our Discord, and I don't give them enough credit half the time. But thank you for recommending Obsidian. I did end up going down that path, and I am now a huge fan. So yeah, I need to find out if they're open source. I'm trying to be more open source minded again. Since getting back involved with Scale, I've been kind of getting my open source feet under me again, where I've kind of set it to the side, and so I need to look at that. But before we move on, we have a spot for one more sponsor.
To our friends at Honeybadger.io for sponsoring this podcast. I looked for a long time for a monitoring tool that would work for me. Something that was going to be simple and get to the point. I needed clear, actionable intelligence on what I did wrong. Not walls of charts and reams of logs to tail. That's why I use Honeybadger, the monitoring tool we always wanted. A tool that's there when you need it, and gets out of your way when you don't, so that you can keep shipping. Know when critical errors occur and which customers are affected, respond instantly when your systems go down, improve the health of your systems over time, and fix problems before your customers can report them. Honeybadger is the application health monitoring tool built for you, the developer who cares about a quality product and happy customers. Be the hero of your team and sign up for a free trial and start monitoring today at honeybadger.io. Setup takes as little as 5 minutes. See what you've been missing and fix it. Once again, that's honeybadger.io. Now let's get back to the show.
Thank you, Honeybadger.
Thank you, Honeybadger. And
I honestly can't remember if that's the AI me or not. Is that the AI me?
That's the AI you. I do not know.
Because I usually edit mine so I don't sound so stupid. And I'm like, well, I don't sound so stupid there. That could be me. I don't know. Yes,
Funny.
Kaylin is in our Discord saying this is where he met John and I. We talk about you all the time, Kaylin. Happy to know you listen to the show. Shouldn't you be working? Didn't you fail that PHP deployment? Just saying. Yes, Scale, Southern California Linux Expo. I'm involved with that organization this year for next year's Scale. I still don't have my promo code I promised you all. I need to figure out what's going on with that. I will share it in our Discord when I do get it. But yeah, if you're in the Southern California area, come not April. Definitely not April. April, you should be in Chicago. March 14th through the 17th in Pasadena. Come by and check it out. Pretty cheap thing to attend, especially if you just go to the vendor section. I think it's like $25 or something.
I'm shocked that they would charge you to go to the vendor area.
Yeah, maybe honestly, maybe they don't. I don't know. Expo Pass is $20. Scale Pass is $80, $80, right? And they have sessions just like us, and it's not development sections. I mean, they might have some developer sessions, but it's really more a lot of networking, a lot of OS stuff. Yeah, they have it all on there. I don't know if they have their schedule up yet, because I do know that they just closed their call for papers or call for presenters, and I think they're putting together their schedule. Speaking of call for presenters,
speaking of, we have done a lot of work. Nothing finalized yet, but we got together for a few hours the other day, and we are looking at the talks for tech in 2024, and oh my god, so many good ones.
There are some great talks. First thing, as always, need to apologize. You all aren't going to get selected, and I'm going to disappoint some very important people in my life, and I'm sorry. But there are so many great talks. It's I don't even know what to say. I'm so excited. I'm actually disappointed I'm not going to be able to attend. I mean, I'm going to be there, but I'm going to be working.
Right. We went through. We have 39 or 36 slots for the 1 hour talks, and I think as we were going through, we're basically making a queue of what we would like to see in there before we finalize it. And what were we up to? Like 60 that we have.
We've got way more than we have slots, and a couple of people had a great suggestion. More tracks. I love that idea. I love it, but
our budget doesn't like it.
Yeah, but yes, we could easily fill a fourth track, probably a fifth track, with just the stuff that John and I are like, this is definitely what we want. We want this right here. And now we're in the process of like, all right, we have to get it down to, something. And you kind of like, okay, let's send out the first round, which we haven't. If you're waiting for emails to let you know your talk got accepted, we haven't sent those out, but probably will be doing shortly.
Probably next week. I think we can.
I'm kind of hoping like we get those out, and like you kind of want like a couple of people to decline, make it easier, because we've got so many more people like on the bench, like ready to come in. I don't know, man. Yeah. This year is definitely going to be harder than last year for sure.
We have way more submissions this year, and I'm sure I'm sure everyone that has submitted understands that we also have a budget we have to think about. So we had so many great talks from international speakers, and
international's breaking my heart.
I know we're definitely bringing some people over, but we had to leave so many behind, and it's just
our international budget, needless to say, is a lot smaller than our in US budget, and it is hurting so bad right now. I'm not even exaggerating. I think 4 out of the top 5 talks that John and I settled on were international. It's like, oh god damn it. So it's going to be a tough one, but we'll make our way through it.
Yeah.
And if you don't get selected, I do hope you still attend. We will make right by you guys.
For sure.
Make sure you can get in there. We say that all the time, as well as our listeners and our, more important, our Patreon supporters.
Yeah. And Chris, we aren't clumping Canada in with international per se. We know it's a little cheaper, to cross the border that way than it is to fly over the friggin' ocean.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We unfortunately, yeah, the international. Well, yeah. I don't know what would Canada is Canada international? I mean,
It's international. I don't think the
just
flight
technically
costs are quite the same.
Yeah. Yeah, we're taking all things in consideration. We're trying to get as many speakers there. And oh my god, I am so happy with our keynote.
Oh yeah.
You're not gonna let me share it, are you?
Our first keynote. Not until we have a title and something we can put on the website. Yeah. It's gonna be good.
I'm very excited about our keynote. Very happy.
When they said they were in, I was like, I was excited as well. It's like,
I was kind of like, really? Was that easy?
Yeah, we're on a call with them and like talking about what the event's about and
trying to sell it. Like, oh yeah, it's a small event, but good people there.
And I'm assuming they were gonna like need to go and think about it, check schedules or whatever, and came
right. That's what I thought.
While we're talking, I was like, oh, I'm in. I'm like, sweet.
So you really just like that? You don't? Okay, sure. No, that's good.
No background checks.
It was funny because I had reached out to John and I'm like, this is the sort of keynote I want to have at a tech. And John was like, reach out to them. And I debated for about 5-10 minutes. I'm like, yeah, John's right. I'm going to reach out to them. And I reach out to them and John's like, already reached out to them. I'm like, well, okay. Well, now we both have.
You're like, you said something about looking desperate. The funny thing is, I then went to their Twitter account and was just trying to learn more. And they live like 20, 30 minutes away from me.
Oh, why'd you say that?
Why not?
You're not supposed to say that.
Why?
Because now everybody who doesn't live 20, 30 minutes away with you is going to be bummed that they're not the main keynote.
Oh. Well, we're saying we talked to the person. They would know.
Whatever.
Stop using logic against me. That doesn't work.
Yes, they were actually another Southern California speaker. So, and before you ask, no, it's not SoCal kid, or NorCal kid. Yeah. No,
fucking Steve really wants the spot.
Steve,
yep.
you said the F word that time. Can we say fucking? I don't know.
It's not like it changes anything. We're still not going to get monetized.
It's okay if we don't get monetized because we have supporters on Patreon. I don't know. I need to transition to it somehow.
Perfect. That works great.
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. We'll keep your name up there for a little while. We don't need to kind of keep. I'm not going to read through the list like I do every night. No, what?
I'm still working on the magazine subscription to everyone that is a patron. If you want the magazine and don't already have one, bug me on Discord and make me do it.
Yeah. As well as all the other questions that were asked about gifting it to somebody else or using it to extend your current subscription. We're working on all that. Like I said last week, if we can automate it, we will definitely do that, and it's not an issue. All right.
Yep.
Oh, what are you taking me to now? Cursor.sh? What is cursor.sh?
It's a virus. Careful.
I wouldn't doubt it.
The AI first code editor. Have you tried the
Oh,
AI
I didn't
within
see
PHP
that.
Storm yet?
So I was on the beta program.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, yeah. I was so yeah, I have tried it. I don't think I've tried it since they've done the official release. I don't know if anything's changed with it. But yeah, I'd kind of given up on Copilot, GitHub's Copilot, a while back. Not because it was doing a bad job. It just felt like it was getting more in the way, and especially with my Vim movements, it would try to autocomplete, and if I hit tab, it would just boom, it would autocomplete the GitHub. I'm like, no, I didn't want that. So I had turned off GitHub Copilot. I kind of like the PHP Storm AI a little better because you can have that panel where you kind of interact with it, where you say, "Hey, the code I have up, can you optimize the function?" And it will make suggestions that way. So that's how I've used in the past. I just kind of forget it's there. Uh, so it's a little bit more like Chat GPT,
Right.
where it's kind of like a separate thing that you go into and then you have a conversation with it. I guess Copilot's the same way on VS Code, from what I hear. They did the same thing on VS Code. But yeah, I kind of stopped with the AI stuff with my development. If I get stuck, I'll reach for it and say, this is what I'm trying to do, and see if it kind of comes up with a suggestion. But I mean, it was working okay. It just seemed to get in the way more than not for me.
I haven't used it for any code. I did enable AI in our PHP Storm account, so if you wanted to re-enable it, it's there. Right now I'm playing with it. I don't know what I'm going to actually use it for, but I have a simple script that I run locally to backfill all that data I was talking about, those 5 fields. And it's going to take hours or days upon days to run, but that's another story. But as I wrote the script, I have it connecting to 4 different databases, and then I have a loop to go over each database and then update it all and then go to the next one. And then I commented out that 4 and put in another for each loop with just the local database option in there, just for testing purposes. And I asked it to analyze the code. And again, I don't know why AI continues to baffle me or surprise me, but part of the response was the commented outline for each blah, blah, blah at the beginning indicates that probably this script was initially planned to be ran on not just the local database, but also on other databases as well. And then list out the databases. Shocks me. I don't.
Yeah.
And
And that's the JetBrains AI, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that about the JetBrains AI as well. It was a little more chatty on that aspect of it. I forget what I had used it on, and it was kind of doing the same thing. It's like, hey, I noticed by this comment that leads me to believe, or whatever it said, that you meant more for it to do more. I'm like, okay, don't worry about that comment. Okay, that's between me and my IDE. You just worry about what I told you.
Yeah, so this cursor.sh, the AI first code editor, looks like a standalone thing. Am I getting that correct?
I don't know.
But it uses Chat GPT to basically bring AI into your code base. It's like the AI wars have started.
The AI, and they're not going away, huh? They're just not going away. Okay, what is it? Migrate? They even have a one-click migrate from VS Code. That is interesting. So it's just another IDE, or
yeah, it's a fork of VS Code, is what I've heard. What was written in Discord.
Oh, interesting. Oh, I mean, yeah, I guess that wouldn't be so hard. So what's the? Yeah, I can't get into this. I don't care. I really don't. I mean,
if you really want the AI part, it's using Chat GPT, so you have to pay. You get 50 requests for free, and then if you
So-
want more, it's
so
$20
is that
a
the-
month.
Big difference is using ChatGPT as opposed to Copilot, which is Microsoft, who also creates VS Code. I don't. You're just going from the whole reason you're going to create this whole other editor is so that you can use another AI tool. I don't
Right.
get it, man.
Who knows?
Yeah, I'm over it. I'm getting over it. I mean, I'm definitely getting like AI overload. I'm about done with it, man.
We had a lot of
Take me
AI
back to the
talks
days.
submitted to tech too. I was shocked by that.
Yeah, a lot of. I'm feeling old. Ugh, speaking of feeling old, I'm feeling old. I'm like these new kids and their AI tools. I don't know. You want to hear something funny? And then
What?
I want to get to another thing here. The current wife got something from the current mother-in-law, which included a old school cuckoo clock that belonged to my current wife's mother's mother. Current wife's mother. There might even be another mother in there, but I know it's at least that far.
Wow.
So maybe so. It's a very, very old cuckoo clock, and it had come. Needless to say, no electricity, no anything else. It's your old school cuckoo clock. It had come wrapped up in newspaper. I'm like, oh my God, look how old that newspaper is. It was like that really dark brown, and like the ink looked like really like. I'm like, that's like they're probably talking about Abraham Lincoln's assassination and like the MAGA of the time is saying it's a conspiracy. He's not really dead. Let's look at it. And the current wife gives me the newspaper, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's not that old, obviously. And I look at the date. It's from 83. I'm like, who the hell are you looking this old? And then I think, that's 40 years, right? That is pretty old paper. It's like, I couldn't believe how old it looked. And I couldn't believe I was alive when it was published. I'm like, ah! I'm cool, man.
So the paper really did look aged. It's just only 40 years old, not hundreds of years old.
Yeah. It was only 40 years old. It wasn't, yeah. But still, man, that's not cool. Just
Any good articles in there?
So one of the things was the TV guide, which you kids might not know. There used to be a TV guide in the newspaper. That was fun.
Or you would buy or you'd buy a separate one.
Or you buy, well, if you're rich and fancy and you wanted to do the crossword puzzle, you'd buy the separate one. It reminded me like how something used to show on multiple channels, because there wasn't just like one service you would subscribe to watch it. It would be on whatever your NBC affiliate was, channel 2 and channel 4, or something like that. It was kind of cool, but just a bunch of, and then of course the current wife thought maybe it has some relevance, so we're like looking through, and it's like, no, just a random paper from then.
Still
All right.
publish a TV schedule as a separate magazine?
Who reads print anything anymore? Wait a minute. Don't listen to me. Read print coding. We talked about Andy last week about how he still prints out the MySQL documentation so that he has it to thumb through. I do like looking at my magazines. I got to be honest. I'm not trying to sell it. I felt this way before we took over PHP Architect. I enjoy having the print copy. I've always, for as long as PHP Architect has offered a print copy, there was a little time there where they had stopped offering it. But for the entire time that they've offered a print copy, I have purchased the print copy because I enjoy having the physical magazine.
Mm-hmm. And it just came in. Last month's just came in. You can't see it back there. It's all blurred out.
Oh, I need to go to my mailbox and check that out. Okay, I'm going to share something with you guys. I don't know how official it is.
It's somebody had shared it in a tweet somewhere or something, but it's just kind of some statistics around programming languages and where they are and how PHP is measuring up. And PHP is still there. So in 2003, and this is marked as 2003 quarter 3. I assume, again, a lot of assumptions happening here. I assume this is grabbing stuff from GitHub, open source projects. Obviously, these numbers can skew a little bit when you start talking about closed source solutions. But as far as 2003 Q3, PHP is coming in at number 7. Sounds low, but again, we have things like C++, all right, TypeScript and JavaScript are on there. Fine, okay, they're languages, but everybody uses them for everything. C++ is not a web language, and of everything on here, I feel like PHP is the web first language. So you can write stuff in Python, Java, Go as web stuff, but PHP number 7 is kind of the first kind of web focused language, in my opinion.
Right.
And
this is just
that.
looking at pull requests. Oh, you can change the stars or pushes.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
stars. Yeah, and I don't think this changes a lot. Well, we dropped down to 9 there. Let me zoom out a little bit because I did zoom in for sake. Yeah, but as you put this up here, these all shuffle around a little bit, but there's like nothing drastic here. Pushes. So is this actually, now that I say it, is this stuff written in PHP or is this the PHP repo? I don't know now.
I'm assuming it's files with the PHP extension.
Yeah, I figure that's got to be it as well. Yeah, that's got to be what it is. Issues. Yeah, all these.
And like you said, PHP code is going to have, for the most part, going to have JavaScript code going right along with it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, JavaScript. That's like when these things. Usually, you see HTML in here somewhere too. I don't see HTML in this one. Which, yeah, actually, I don't see HTML in this one. Normally, on these, you end up seeing HTML as well. But yeah, just cool stuff. I mean, again, we're in the community, PHP community. Nothing is super surprising. So we kind of know it. Unfortunately, it's getting popular again. So that's our secret's out. I don't know what to do about it. All right. I don't know, John. You got anything else?
No, it's already getting late.
It is getting late. I'm trying to see what else I have.
Your kid is asking why we are streaming. Said it at the beginning, but obviously you weren't here. Today is my wife's birthday, so I asked Eric if we could record earlier, and according to our viewership, it might be the better time to record.
This might be the new normal. We'll have to see. We'll see what comes of it. I am gonna blast through a couple of cards here real fast if you're okay with it, John. Because you can't tell me you've got to get to bed. I mean, we're not that old yet, are we?
Getting close. No, I'm going. So the family and I are taking my wife out. So that's it.
I'm blast through a couple things here. This is Jess. He's big in the Laravel community, but he's also really, really big in the Vim community. I get asked a lot from people on what the best way to learn Vim is, and I have said for a very long time that I'm well out of touch of it now. I've been doing it for too long. He's working on a course. I don't know if this is going to have a cost associated with it. Jess is a pretty solid open source person who likes sharing information. I'm not saying he's not going to charge for it, but he does have a site here where you can kind of you can put your email in here and stay current for when he's releasing stuff. So if you're one of those people who have been wanting to learn Vim, this might be the course for you. I've never really found a good one source of Vim. Jess Archer, another Laravel person, on what's that thing called? Laracast, had a pretty good series on NeoVim. And then there's a couple old, I think there's like a Vimcast or something out there that I used to watch back in the day, but yeah, there's just a lot of things out there. One interesting thing that happened, and I'm only bringing this up, John, because I thought maybe you would find it interesting as well. When I was using my Pop! OS machine every day, and John had started using his iPhone, he had he went back to the whole blue-green bubble thing, right? So that if you're a non-iPhone person, you would not get the whatever bubble the Apple bubble is. I started using I started beta testing or alpha testing a product called Beeper, and one of the things
So it
Beeper
was
did,
the one you were using, huh? With the story.
well, no, not exactly. So what Beeper allowed you to do is allowed you to connect to a bunch of messaging services, and it's like the old AIM. What's Game back in the day where you could do Yahoo and AOL and everything on one? It was like that, very much like that. Not a Electron app on a bunch of web interfaces. But the big thing it did, it allowed me to message John on iMessage, and John had no idea. Well, he had an idea because I told him, but there was nothing evident on his end that it wasn't coming from an Apple device. So this group, Beeper, I guess that one individual feature got a lot of requests, and they created Beeper Mini, which that's all it did was allowed Android users to message Apple users and not be excluded or not have the degradation of the experience that they had, the degradation that Apple forces on them. Because so anyways, they came out with this thing called Beeper Mini, and I guess Apple shut it down, and then the Beeper people figured out a workaround. So now it's an arms race again, where they're kind of creating it, and that's the thing, is like on Android you don't have to go through an app store. You can sideload stuff easily, a lot more easier than iPhone. It was interesting on I saw a few articles come in on this. I don't know if it's in the YouTube clip that I shared or not, but it's interesting. Somebody started talking about what we've talked about in the past, how shameful Apple is to intentionally break technology so that they can force their people who use their product in their ecosystem, which is the only reason. And that's basically what they said. That's the only reason why we have this problem, is because Apple knows that iMessenger is a big product for their non-technical users especially, and so they intentionally break it to keep their non-technical users in their ecosystem. And I'm like, it's so frustrating to hear that, but they're so right. We see that happen on so many of their products. It sucks. So that sucks. The other thing I wanted to share, and I'm not going to share it on screen here. I'll just
before you move on. I'm still confused on how they are getting into iMessenger. Like, what's the workaround? What are they doing? Like, if it's not open and available, how are they accessing it?
So I don't know if you remember, John, about a year or two ago, I had stumbled across a open source project for an iMessage server. You had to run it on a Apple product, but you could tie into it with other devices, and then it would basically,
I don't know exactly how it worked. Like if it just ignored the fact that you weren't an Apple device and just said, okay, I'm going to process your message or what. But it kind of did the same thing, right? It was this iMessage server that you ran on your Mac, and then you could message it from other devices, and it would emulate iMessage to somebody else. It was kind of clunky, didn't really work great, and I didn't care enough about it. So I just stopped. I have one kid that uses an iPhone now, but back then I didn't have anybody in my life that used iPhone. So it was more of I was curious about it and wanted to see if I could get it to work. So I didn't care about it. I'm curious if that project is factoring into this at all. I don't remember what that project was called. I should go back and look.
But
yeah.
that was an Apple project, and now they're tying into that somehow.
Well, that was an open source project that was designed to be an iMessage server. And again, I don't know how it all worked. I don't know.
Yeah, it's more that if that was something that had access to iMessenger itself, like I would assume that if Apple doesn't want people sharing this way, that it's a closed API. Nobody can get into the walled garden, right?
Yeah.
So
I would imagine. Yeah.
But obviously there's a way, and it's like, how does that happen?
Yeah. Ricardo, I am with you on the Signal. I love Signal. I just couldn't get anybody to use it. I tried. I ran it for years. Do you?
Yeah.
I ran it for years, and I think you and I are the only two that use it, John. I couldn't get anybody else to use it. I like Signal as well. Telegram is the same way. I kind of have more people on Telegram, but Signal is the one that. What's his name? The NSA.
Edward Snow.
Edward Snow. Yeah, Signal is the one that.
Snow or Snowden?
Snowden.
Yeah.
Edward Snowden talked about and kind of promoted for a while, and what he used to communicate with journalists after he was doing the leak. So, yeah. I dropped another link for our Discord people. It's called GitHub Unwrapped. Yeah, I think this is officially from GitHub, I believe. It will, or maybe it's not. It's called GitHubUnwrapped.com. So I feel like I got this from GitHub. Yeah, they have GitHub marketing on here for sure. It's kind of cool. It creates a video based on your GitHub activity over the last year.
Why is mine a flat line?
Mine just came up a video. Please stop coding. Just stop. We're all asking nicely now. What's cool about it though is if you're like myself, you do 95% of your work in private repos for clients and stuff. You can actually give this permission to your private repos. It will still generate the video and demonstrate that as part of your video. I posted mine on I think it posted it on my Twitter account. I didn't actually go and confirm, but I'll assume it's there. So go give it a look. Okay, we are running super long. John, you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, but I'm looking at the permissions you're giving this thing, and this application will be able to read and write all public and private repository data.
I don't see a problem with that, John. It's not going to make the code worse.
It's going to run it through AI for you and repush. It's like, if you're just creating the video, why do you need write permission, for crying out loud?
It's going to push right to main, too. It's got full permission. Doesn't even need to open up PRs.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. Sorry.
Wimp. You wimp.
Yeah, I want to see what it says, but that just seems so bad. Like, not a good idea.
All right. Anything else?
No. Thank you for indulging me in recording a little earlier today. I appreciate it.
Thank the listeners. And listeners, if this is your first time listening and you'd be interested in listening more live, I mean, you could have been listening this entire time. We do release this as an audio podcast and it's still on YouTube, but I get the whole live experience. let us know. I mean, we had a good turnout. I mean, probably as much, if not a little more, than we do in the afternoon. So maybe we make this every other week or even a regular thing. Who knows? Let us know. Hit us up on Discord or
Yeah.
YouTube. Not YouTube. I mean, you can hit us
wherever.
on YouTube,
Just
but
give
Twitter,
us feedback.
Mastodon.
Let us know.
We're all over the place. Besides that, I think that's it. I'm Eric.
I'm John. Keep it ugly.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP the Ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting. I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on. Hey.
That was fun.
It was. If we do stay daytime, maybe push it back to 3 instead of 2.
Why?
Well, we normally go like hour and a half or so, and so it would just take me 3 to 5. Where like end the day, go hang with the family.
Business. Gotcha. Now you're expected to work again. Is that what you're saying?
Well, not today. Like I said, I'm planning taking the family out.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Jackie. Yeah, it was cool. We got some new faces in our Discord, so that was nice. Like to see that. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. If this is your first time watching us live, and you're like, do they know they're still streaming? Yes, we know we're still streaming. Our dirty little secret. The thing we keep from all the audio listeners is that we continue streaming after the show and continue talking.
There are a handful of titles.
Oh, partner of NorCal Kid might have nailed the title. Daywalkers. I like that one. Were any other titles suggested? Let's take a look, shall we?
There were a good number of them.
All right, what do we got for titles? We have Afternoon Delight, not a bad one in this Bucky. Daylight Edition, A Woods, of course. Breakfast Edition, I like it buttery. Maybe it's breakfast for you. A little late for us here in the U.S. More cowbells.
It was 7 a.m. for buttery.
A little
started.
Yeah. Steve, too soon, Steve. Too soon.
Hey, what's getting one in under the wire? You need to refresh your list.
Actually, I'm using NeoVim, so it will refresh automatically. It kind of does that. We have identify as Laravel, something witty. Your comments are wrong there, Buttery. You did unbelievable, Buttery. You did your comment wrong on that one.
What do you do?
Happy birthday, Jackie. That's cute. A Woods. Daywalkers. I'm still feeling Daywalkers. PHP Phoenix, a programming language. I like that A Woods, but you know what? I'm giving it to a partner of NorCal Kid, or friend of NorCal Kid, whatever they call themselves now. I'm giving it to Daywalkers, partner of NorCal. No, that's partner. The
I'm looking at
SoCal
SoCal.
kid. Yeah,
SoCal's a
SoCal
friend.
kid is friends. Yeah.
Ah,
So Daywalker is our title for this one. I assume if you're listening, NorCal kid is listening. So yeah, that will be Daywalkers if I'm gonna get thumbnailed from you.
I'm still trying to get figure out where Buttery's title suggestion was because I'm curious what was messed
Oh,
up.
here I'll let me. I can't bring it up over here because it's on my Linux machine. Oh, actually, I do. I think it's in Dropbox. Maybe I can bring it up over here. Let's see. What is the path on this? Okay. Here you go. Yeah, I can bring it up over here. Let's see. Dropbox, PHPUgly. And then what's it?
Your camera stopped glitching. That was good.
That's very good, right? Jeez.
Yeah.
Really happy to hear that. Boom, 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 boom. Here we go. Go. Okay, so now I can remember I do this. It might not update as quickly. Oh yeah, Buttery got another one in there. Let me share that. Share. I gotta stop sharing that. Share here. Share window. Share. Is that the right window? Oh, I can't share it because I gotta. Please update your permissions. What? I hate my Mac. I'm sorry. I'm just. What does it say? To allow screen recording from the browser, please update system permissions.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what a pain in the ass this thing is.
And then it's going to tell you need to reboot or restart the application. Most of the time you don't have to, but sometimes you
most
do.
times you don't. I had that happen the other day. What permission do I have to allow though? Accessibility?
Screen recording. I think under accessibility.
Accessibility. Get it done real fast. Screen recording. Yeah. No, I don't see your screen recording. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, guys.
It's not that important.
No, it's not. It's stupid Mac, so not that worried about it. Oh, your data privacy. There you go. Applications to access content. Your screen. To record your screen. Here we go.
Screen recording. There you go.
See if this works. Later. All right, let's see if it worked without restarting. Well, I'm seeing a lot more. Nope, it's still not working. Sorry, guys.
No worries.
I guess I can copy and paste it and throw it in chat. I can do that. How's that? Here,
Chris was doing a little more. Chris was chatting more on YouTube, and we missed one of the things that he brought up. Chris,
I noticed that Grumpy was chatting on YouTube as well, and didn't.
That's that's who I was talking about.
Oh, I know why. Oh, Chris. Oh, yeah. I still call him Chatty. I know why. Because we stream this on the PHP Architect YouTube. No. That should have worked too. Yeah, I don't know.
What?
I don't know why.
Don't know why what?
We were missing when Chris started messaging on YouTube. His first 2 or 3 messages we missed. It didn't come up on Restream.
Really?
Yeah.
Then how'd you see him? Well, you saw him in Discord, but not in Restream?
Yeah, I saw him somewhere, and then I didn't see him. I didn't see him on the Restream that was coming across the stream. Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
He just said, if I can take a gig where I am going to work with Laravel, how bad could it be?
I think that's the one I saw, actually.
Yeah. It's not
All right, this is what
like
this is what
anything else. Just gotta.
that's what Buttery posted.
All right. Wish I could hang out more. I'm going to have to. Where did you post it?
I don't know, restream chat. I assume it posted everywhere. Didn't I post everywhere?
Oh, something witty. Gotcha.
Oh, it didn't do the comments wrong that time.
I'm so confused.
Oh, okay. I apologize. Buttery didn't do his comment wrong. The restream was escaping the
Asterisks.
something.
Asterisks?
I guess if you put the asterisk there, I guess that's what it was escaping, or they had formatted it in Discord and then Restream escaped it. That's probably what happened. So something witty. Look for something witty, and however, he probably posted differently to Discord, where it's just like bolded probably, and then Restream escaped it.
No,
That makes
it's just
more
it's
sense.
just title star something witty star.
Oh, well then I don't tell you.
I want to see what you're seeing on your side.
Buttery doesn't accept. I'm very sorry, Buttery. I'm sorry we ruined your breakfast, Buttery.
All right, I'm
Right,
gonna take off. Wish I could hang out
That's it.
longer.
Thanks everybody for hanging out with us.
Appreciate
Bye.
it. Bye.